class, I hope all of you can add RStudio as one of the skills and statistics as one of your professional and you as an expert. So this is the mission. So let's go for that mission and in a very short 8 weeks. Okay, Dr. Azad, it's almost 5. It's exactly 5. And yes, please, please share your screen and let's go. And let me just, yeah, please go start with the introduction. So, class, for this presentation, we're gonna have a 3 back-to-back meeting. Please mute your. Okay. We're gonna have 3 back-to-back presentation. The reason for that is the limitation for the Zoom is 40 minutes. So we're gonna have 3 back-to-back. The first part is introduction, some kind of overall a big picture of the class, and then I will go ahead with some basic statistic that we need that for the first exercise. I'm just going to talk about the mean standard deviation and the t-test. And then at the very last part, I will go with reviewing the exercise with RStudio, and let's give you some tips to go at with working with that much sooner, easier, and then I will be here for your questions. So we have 1 hour and a half, and if we need more time, I'm available so you can stay and ask your question. Okay, Dr. Azarias, please go ahead and just. I can see your folder, but I cannot see your presentation. I can see your screen, your computer, but it's in the folder, and I can see live session 419, something like that, but there is no PowerPoint. I Okay, yes. Okay, I can see that now. Class, can you see this one too? Okay, perfect. I believe you need that as a to minimize the folder because the folder is in front of the presentation, and so probably you need to share again. Hello? Huh? Yes. Welcome. Yes. Hi. Yes, we will discuss in a few minutes. So in a, maybe in 30 minutes from now. If you have access to your computer, I recommend you to connect through their computer because we are sharing some presentation. I will walk through the RStudio, and then you really need that presentation. Yes. Please connect through your computer. Mhm. And if you are running for the first time, your computer needs to install the application. Yep. Okay. No, no slides. Do you want me to share from here? Okay. I believe you need to stop sharing and I will share here. Okay. Can you see? Okay. Yes. Did I go so fast? Okay. Okay. Dr. Azadi, sorry I interrupt you. Based on the message I'm seeing here, probably the meeting will be closed in 5 minutes. If it's closed, class, please back. We started the next one. Go ahead, please. Sorry. Yes, yes. Okay, we disconnected. Um, Hello again, class. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, yes, perfect. Okay, Dr. Azad, did you? Okay, are you here? Okay, perfect. Okay, Dr. Azad, please stay. If checking, just wait for one more minute. Some of the students need to be connected. So I don't know if a person asks the question is here, so we can continue. Otherwise, I prefer to wait a few more, not a few more seconds, so to make sure just everyone here on board. Um, okay. Actually, we started a few minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, and this is the second session basically. But we are still on general discussion. We didn't start of talking about the statistic part of the session. So you can listen to this presentation later. So I'm recording that. Dr. Hazard is speaking about because we have this for two classes. Dr. Hazard is speaking about the general aspect of the course and the expectation. I will discuss more about the statistic part about the RStudio and kind of the question and you have. Yeah, you're welcome. hmm Okay. Okay, no problem. Thank you. You have access to this. You can just listen to this later. That's fine. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, class. This is. Can you see my screen? Correct. Can you see my the presentation? Okay. Okay. Perfect. Here. This one. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Azadi. Class, we have two options to continue. The first of all, so it depends on your decision here. I can go ahead with some statistical background, or I can go directly to RStudio. Which of them do you prefer? Class, what's your preference? RStudio. Okay. Okay. Uh, are all of, okay. Some of you are muted, so please unmute and say, okay. What's your so RStudio? RStudio. Okay. I Okay, perfect. This is the PowerPoint I have here. So because we have so there's a lot of things to cover, so I prefer to go with RStudio. But I will share the PowerPoint video with you. So I'm gonna go and talk speedy so we can cover more aspect of the exercise. I expected all of you. Is there anyone that who did not install the RStudio yet? So I assume that all of you at least installed the RStudio. Okay, perfect. And okay, class. Let me go first with the okay. Let me do you have can you see my screen, right? I will explain that. Sure. This is the first things we can cover. That's thank you. Um Class, this is the RStudio platform, right? This package. Um, Please let me mute some of you. That's some things. Okay, it's noisy. Please unmute. Please mute yourself if you're talking with someone else. RStudio has four different um, panel. The first panel is this panel. I call it the codes panel. This is the second panel, data panel, and this is the plot panel. You can see file, plots, package, help, review here. So you need to move between them. And this is console. Usually you can see all the result in console. So first thing first. So if you go to the class, you can download the codes and save it in your computer. Um, I save it in my computer. I'm reading the code. For reading the code, you need to click here and go with a new file with open file. If you already have the file in your computer, for example, you can click on the file and open the file here. So this is the week 1 exercise. If you are in Dr. Azadi's class, she put all the codes in the class. You can copy the code, click on the file, click on the new file, click on the R script and paste here. I don't have it, so but if you paste here, you will have all the codes like this here. So this is the codes, you have this one. Whenever you have a code, you still need to have a data. This is the data sets. HMGT400 hospital.csv file, and you need to make sure that you generated a folder. Let me bring my folder C. You need to make sure that you generated a UMUC folder like this in drive C of your computer. So basically, if you have UMUC, it's gonna be C UMUC. Very easy. If you are working with the MacBook, so this address should be in your documents. You can generate the UMUC in your computer, in your documents, and in your documents gonna be something like UMUC. You can generate something like this, UMUC. So this is the first part. You first of all, so you have. Let's go with these steps. First of all, yes, yes. No, the reason is because you need to have the most important the reason I found that because most of the student has a problem for for reading the file. So basically, if you know the path of the file, you can just change the path here, this one. In that case, you can save in any place. But because there is several codes, for example, there is a text file for the log file, there is a the data file here that converted to that. If you want to change that, your path, you need to change all the place. It's much easier to generate a new folder in drive C instead of changing all of this place. If you want to change, use in any other place yet, you need to change this one, you need to change this one, you need to change also this one and this one. So and and also it's better to have all the file together in one folder so you don't need to look for the file. This is the reason I ask all of the students to go ahead and just put everything in drive C in your computer and call it in the folder UMUC. It's much easy to follow. Sure, you're welcome. Okay, whenever you have the file, so basically you need a file, call it HMGT, this is HMGT400, and the format of this file is the CSV format. So this is not an Excel file. Some of you are working with a MacBook, and when you download the file, by default, your computer open the file automatically. If whenever you have the file open, so don't save it. So just go ahead to the download folder in your computer. If usually all of your computer has a download folder like here. Let me show you the download folder. If here, this one. If your operating system is Windows, your download folder is here. If your operating system is a MacBook, you have the download folder. Go ahead and just copy the file. I'm just showing, just copy the file and then paste it in the drive C. Otherwise, if you save as in drive C, your computer will change the format to text file if you are working with a MacBook, and you will never be able to read the file. This is the other problem that usually most of the students have. And then, so whenever you have the file, you have the code. So there is two ways to go with with exercise, and this is the exercise, right? This is exercise 1, and for the exercise 1, you have can you see that one, right? Can you see my screen now? Okay. For the exercise 1, the question asks you to just report the hospital character between 2011 and 2012, and for this you need to report the number of observation, mean, standard deviation, and you also need to run a t-test and report a p-value. So I wanted to discuss about the mean and standard deviation, but I will go ahead and just run the code and explain them in the concept of the RStudio, so it's much easier for you to digest that. So I have the codes and I have the data. The first thing you need to take care of that is fixing all of the paths. Make sure if you have a Windows operating system, make sure you have drive C, CUMUC, and this is a sync command. The sync command copy all of your activities in RStudio in a text file. So basically, after you finish that, you can go ahead and just see what you did, and then you can look at all the numbers. You need to go step by step to copy and paste in your Excel. So this is the path. Make sure you have this path correct and this path is correct. So first of all, before doing anything, make sure you have the data. For that, highlight this code and click on the run. Here, this button, click on the run. So whenever you see this one, HOSP, here this is the file. You need to see the HOSP. This is the file in RStudio format. And this file has 3030 observation with 27 variables. I like to make sure I have all the variables, so you need to run the second line like this, line 17, and see this one. Yes, yes, I'm gonna go step by step, and then yes, you can do it all of them together actually, and with one click. Yes, and for the if you are working with RStudio as the first time, you also need to install the package. To install the package, you need to just run this line 10 in my codes, and probably in your codes, probably line 10 if you are in my class, and in probably some other line, and click on run. I'm not running this because I already run this code. I don't need to run again. But each time I want to use that package, I need to load the package. With this line, if I run this package, I can see, okay, I received this message, and that message says, okay, I have already the package ready to use. If you install the package, make sure to mute the code. For muting any line, you can put a pound sign in front of the line. So basically all of the line you can see in the green line, green color, all of them is muted. So you can mute the code by adding the pound sign. So now I'm going to run all the codes. I would like to show you here. I will don't use the sync command first to make sure that's what's happening. So basically you can run all of them together. So I'm running here, and if you see, I can see if you receive this graph in your computer, so it does mean you have everything ready to use. So the other point is, before before populating your tables, make sure to run the codes to make sure you have all the results. So if you can see 114.98 in the very last message, you can see with the numbers in your computer, you are in a good position. You did everything correct. So I'm gonna go now step by step to show you how you can populate the table using the RStudio. RStudio give you some info. So you can actually, I can, it's echoing myself. Is it okay, everything? Okay, I think it's good now. You know, in the RStudio, you can export the findings in Excel instead of copying and pasting from the console. This is the command I use for the first week. Basically, I ask RStudio to just run this code and save everything as a temp. TM1 is gonna be uh, this is a T, this is a mean for exercise one, right? This is only a name, table mean for exercise one, and the second one is table standard deviation exercise one. If you go with that, and you can convert them to Excel. So if I run this here, and if I go to the drive C of my computer, you can see these codes. Let me bring you here. This is the place my file is. Okay, we can copy that and paste in the Excel, and it's going to be automatically open. This is, sure, go ahead. For which variable? You mean you are talking about your data sets? Are you talking about this data, hospital data? How many observations do you have? Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I'm following your question. So let me go. Yes. You are talking about the means, not about the data, because when you are talking about data, I'm looking at this. These are the results of the RStudio. Okay, you are talking about the result. Let me remove that and see the result. This is the result. You can see this one here, right? Yes, because I, mhm, yes. You know, the new Deepler package rounded all the numbers, but if you converted that to the Excel, your number is a little bit different. But if you round it even in the Excel, you can see the same number. You can see this is 377. These are all of them is a big number if you want to keep them. And for all of them, you can round all the numbers for the mean and standard deviation. So basically, I believe you have all of these numbers. Even if you look at the RStudio, you can see these numbers here. 377, you can either copy from here or you can convert it to the Excel. If you convert to the Excel, you have this one here. This is the mean. I can copy here. I can copy here. I can paste spatial, and I can see value transpose, and this is 2011 means, right? This is the mean for 2011. This is the mean for the, and this is the mean for 2012. So I need a standard deviation for 2011 and standard deviation for 2012. You can do that because I converted all the data to Excel. I can copy this one here and it's going to be opened. If I paste here, I can see the okay, this is exercise. Where is that? Oh, this is, oh, probably that's, this is a mean, that's a standard deviation. Sure, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm recording. I'm recording that. Yes, with the presentation. Yes, no problem. This is no problem. That's fine. Sure. And I can copy the standard deviation here, and this is all the standard deviation. I can do it here, copy here, and it's very easy, right? This is first table. Basically, it's finished easily. So um, I'm gonna stop here and go with the other part of the codes. And then you can round all of them. It's gonna be the same number that you have in RStudio. This is all the part of this. Yes, yes. There, yeah, yeah. The reason is this is the first week, and we are going with mean and standard deviation, and at least a t-test. For the second week, this is the t-test. That for the third week, we are working on the ANOVA test, and for the 4 weeks, we are going on work on the regression model, and for the fifth weeks, we are going to the logic model. Basically, with the Excel, it is possible to run t-test, but working the ANOVA with Excel needs a lots of time to do that. And for running a regression in Excel, you really need to spend maybe 10 times more than RStudio to get that point. Also, it's not possible always to see the scatter plot to density plot, because this is a real statistics. Excel is good for designing a table with nice table and very small bar chart, pie chart, just for a presentation. Excel is good for making to make up in the file and make it very easy to present, but it's not really good for statistics. And you imagine now we have 3000 observation, and it's possible. I work with Excel professionally. It's possible to write a code in Excel to give you all the mean standard deviation. But you imagine you are working with real data, for example, with the Medicare data with 1 million observation. What do you want to do? Excel even cannot read that file. I'm working with the HCAP data and I have 32 million observation for each run. So even you cannot touch that file. The real environment you are going to be is not the environment of the class. I'm giving you some real example. If you decided to go to the CMS and be a analyst there, and they're gonna give you all the inpatient service for mainland, and it's gonna be more than 2 million observation amount. So this is the data you want to work. This is not a 10 observation you want to go and just even count them. You don't need even to go with the Excel. You can do it manually. You can work with your mind. You can take your cell phone out and just compute the mean and the standard deviation as a piece of cake. But the reason for that program, the other advantage of RStudio is you can keep whatever you did here. So you write a code one time and just you can run it several times. In Excel, each time you need to generate that, and even if you change your environment to the another data set, you need to sit again and start writing a code for that. It is possible to use Excel for at least mean and standard deviation is an easy piece of cake to do that, but it's not really good for t-test. At least even with the t-test is a good. If you know the concept of t-test, you can just write a code to compute a t-test in Excel. Even on a simple regression, but for sure not regression, not logic regression. It's not the package for those things. Yes, go ahead, please. hmm Can you speak louder, please? It is possible to go to the Adelphi and then probably. I'm not sure. But what's the real question you have? I can schedule a live session with you in person, and then we can see what's the problem you have. Yeah. hmm You prefer the hybrid class, I understand. Yeah, probably that's a good, probably it was a situation we could have a hybrid class. More likely we can work maybe every 2 weeks and then talk about the discussion and exercise in class, and then I honestly I prefer that, but there is some limitation for online class. But I'm available. I can schedule a meeting with you and walk through your computer and see what the real problem. So whenever you understand that it's piece of cake, you can just write the code and just go ahead and run the code. And it's very easy to go with that. You're welcome. Okay, class. This is the mean and standard deviation, and the second probably we're gonna be disconnected in a few. Okay, they say remaining minute time. Okay, 10 minutes. We have 10 more minutes where I can talk more about this. The first part of the exercise one is a mean. The second part is the standard deviation. I will talk about a number later. And the fourth part is a p-value. I don't know how many are familiar with t-test. Okay, identity while. Okay, this is the basic formula for the t-test. Let me show you here. For the t-test, this is a real basic formula. You have a two population, I also put a video in the class. It was very from the Khan Academic, and that's very easy to go. Videos. There's a lots of them in the YouTube. You can watch them. But the basic formula for the basic equation for the t-test is you have two population. For each population you have a mean, and for each population you have a number of observation, and for each population you have a variance. Basically, if you use this formula, you can see the p value, the p the t value. The t value moved if you go with, and okay, we have a few assumptions. The first assumption is I'm considering the 5% as a 95% confidence interval in this mean, and if you repeat this observation in this analysis 100 more time, in 95% I can see exactly the same result I get it now. So any numbers, and if you look at the table, this is the t-test table. I ask you to just go over the internet and just check t-student table. And the t-student table, if you go with a 5%, you're going to be 95 here. And if you go with the observation more than 120, it's going to be unlimited numbers. You can find 1.65. Any number, let's see, any number bigger than this and any number less than this are in the rejection area. Basically, when you are going to compute to say your hypothesis is the mean of two population is equal. So based on the 5% confidence 95% confidence interval, or alpha equal to 5%, any number between minus 1.96 and plus 1.96 is in the area to accept your hypothesis that the mean in population 1 is equal to mean in population 2. If you want to go it manually, you need to see these numbers and convert your p-value to the t-value. But if you are working with RStudio, this is very easy to go. This is the result of t-test in RStudio. RStudio give you the Welch 2 sample t-test, and let me give you some information here. And basically RStudio compared the mean, for example, for this line, the t-test compared the hospital bed in 2011 and in 2012, and the line of code is the t-test is a command here. The main command is here. Let me go back. The main command is here. The t-test is a command here, right? The bracket opened and the bracket, the hospital 11, this is we use this code to subset the data only for 2011, and we use this code to subset the data only for 2012. So the t-test compared the hospital bed between 2011 and 2012, and this is paired t-test. So I have equal observation for 2011 and 2012 to have this paired t-test. And if you look at this observation on the number of output here, the RStudio run the Welch 2 sample t-test. I put a link in the class for the Welch 2 sample t-test. Please go ahead and look at that document. That's very short, 2 or 3 pages document, explain everything for you. RStudio give you the t-value, give you the degree of freedom, and give you the p-value. The p-value here. By default, because we are assumed that we are working in 95% confidence interval or alpha equal to 5, any p-value, this is really important point, any p-value more than 0.05 is not significant. So I'm repeating that. Any p-value with more than 5% or 0.05 is not significant. So I have here, this is the Let me run this one more time to give you some information. I run the t-test between hospital bed for 2011 and 2012, and I have the mean population, mean of hospital bed in 2011, 376.6, and I have hospital bed in 2007, in 2011, 376.8, and I have a p-value 0.09926. Based on this information, is there any significant difference between 2011 or 2012 class? It's not significant, exactly, because the numbers is very small and the number is less than 0.05. Let me repeat the analysis with other. I have I comparing the hospital employment on payer between 2011 and 2012, and I have this p-value 0.001076. Actually, I'm looking at this for the three first decimal. Do you think is it significant or not? It is significant, exactly. Let me review all other parts. So for first week, you can have answer for all of these questions. And I'm running total Medicaid days between 11, and I have the p-value 0.084. Is it significant? It's not significant. And I have the same for total hospital discharge, and I have the p-value 0.08968. What do you think? It's not significant. I have the total hospital Medicare discharge, and I have the p-value 0.0049. What is it? What do you think? It is significant. And I have finally I have total hospital Medicaid discharge, and I have the p-value 0.08615. What do you think here? It is not significant. This is the t-test, and for you have this table, you have mean, you have a standard deviation, and you have p-value. So I'm looking at it clock here. I have 1 more minute for this session. I can use that for this. Basically, I have this one here, mean. I can use mean and standard deviation for 2011. I can use this for 2012. And I have all of the p-value from the class from this here. I can copy. I'm just copying one of them here. The last one, you can do it by yourself. You need to just copy of, keep only 4 decimal here. This is fine. You don't need to even, and if this is incorrect, right? Because I just copied even the year. So if you're comparing your number with this is incorrect. This should be something like this. I'm glad I find this. It's gonna be something like this. So if you're comparing your number with this, make sure that you have this one. So we have the mean and the standard deviation, and we have a p-value. The last one is the number of observation. Okay, it's class. This session will be ended in 1 minute, so I will talk about the number of observation later in the next session. Okay, so far, do you have any question by now? If not, I'm gonna, okay, so let's me start the next session. Hello class, and welcome back again. Let me share my screen one more time. Where is that? Okay, I'm sharing this one. And can you see my screen? Okay. I'm gonna wait a few seconds for other students to join us. Do you have any question here, class, till now? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, Dr. For the deploy package, there is two options. The first option is installing the package. So basically, this is the line the student need to run, this line only. And then whenever they install, they need just to load the package. If they already installed that, they just need to load the package. For that reason, I always suggest that whenever you install the package for the first time, so mute the package, you mute the install package, so you are making sure that um, you are good in a good mood, so you don't need to stay for a while to get back to the real environment of the RStudio. Sometimes for the especially for the Mac user, the RStudio is not compatible. It's a compatible, but because the high security of Mac, or if you are working with a computer in an environment like, for example, any governmental job that there's a restricted uh, security to install any package, so usually you are not able to install the RStudio package, a deploy package. For that reason, you can go ahead and using the no deploy package codes. Basically for that, I wrote the code in a way you do not need a deploy package. You can just run the mean, a standard deviation, and this is everything here. So did I answer your question, Dr. Azadi? Okay. I know you know that you just asked for the students. Thank you for that. Okay. Okay, class. The last part of the code is number of observation. For the number of observation, you have my table command. The my table command tabulate the data for each variable, and then with the summary you can see the number of observation here. This is an example for hospital beds. So for the hospital bed, I have 11505 observation. I can run all of them together for 2011, and this is all the number of observation. They are in the same order. You can read here and just copy and paste in the table 1. This is for 2012. You can do this here again here. um and it's very easy to go from here because you can see everything here, and you can just go ahead and just paste that. The last section, and let me explain something here. Usually when you run the summarize command, sometimes you will receive a message like this. Let me give you a few space to this. For example, if you run something like this, okay, I like to be in the position to don't see some of them. Okay, my computer give me everything here, so I like to see, give him some information that cannot run anything. Okay, you can see a message like this. Can you read this one? You can see with 2 or more variable here. So basically, whenever you look at this, if you receive a message like this, the only thing you need to go is just drag here and move it to the right to give more space to the console. So if you run this code again, I can see all of the observation here. So if happened in your computer and you need to see, even happen for this, for now this is happen for the plot, you need to just click on here, drag it and move it to the left or right. So it's very easy to go. The last part of the code is box plot. The box plot is a good plot to compare the mean of two variables. And for the box plot, you need to run all the part of the code together. So basically, if you go with one part, the first line, this is not in that. So you can see a plus sign here. So instead, RStudio is waiting for the second part of the code. If you go with the second part, it is still waiting. See, the code is not ended. Okay, if I run this, I can see this plot here. But I do recommend you always go with entire code for the box plot. So I have here, and I have a box plot here, and I like to see entire title. So based on this box plot compare number of hospital beds between 2011 and 2012, and this code has different parts. The first part, this is the main part of the code, is this line. In this line, I ask RStudio use hospital data, use hospital bed, and divided them by year. The title for the paper is a figure 1 comparing number of hospital bed in hospital, and the size of main text is a 1. So basically, if you change that, for example, to 2 or 0.5, you can see different font size here. And this is the label. The X label is a year, and the Y label is the number of hospital beds. You can change this, for example, change this to figure number 10, and if you run this again, you can see the figure number 10 here. So, but this is the figure number 1. I need to run again. If you look at this, there is a few places with outliers. I like to remove the outliers. For that, I'm generating a different data set and call it hospital PIC. So if I run this, I eliminated any number more than 2000. I'm just gonna see what's happening to the code. So I see this plot show me better understanding of the distribution of hospital beds in 2011 and 2012. But the point is, how can I copy the plot to the Word document? There is several options to go with that. The easy option is click on the export here, copy to the clipboard here, and you can see this one, and then click on the copy, and here you can come here in this Word document and press Ctrl V. Let me repeat one more time. If you right click on this, there is nothing here to paste. If you go with the mouse, you need to go with the shortcut Ctrl V, and if you are working with MacBook, you can press Command V. Command C for the copy, Command V for the paste. So there is also backsign here. Previous, if you want to see previous command, previous plot, you can click on this. For the next slide, next plot, you can click on this. So this is very easy to move between different figure. There's still one more point. So one of the students asked me in the very first minute, is it possible to run all of them together? And the answer is yes. You can copy all of this console in one txt file. So for that reason, we can use the sync command. The sync command copy all of the console output to one text file. So I can run all the codes together. You can press Ctrl A. If you are working in a MacBook, you can press Command V, or you can just go ahead and just copy them like manually. So to make it easier, if you install the install package, deploy package, please mute the package and then run this. If I run this again, I don't see anything here. but all of the information is here in this. If I go to drive C, I can see all the information here in drive C of my computer. This is here. This is all the information I have here. This is the mean. This is the standard deviation. This is the p-value, and these are all of the numbers. The hard part is the numbers observation here, because it's not easy to understand which number is for which variable. So for that reason, because they are in the same order of the codes, you can look at the code here, look at them. They are in the same order. For example, the first one is the hospital bed, the second one is the employer, and you can go ahead and continue and just populate the table. And then you can copy the plot, and if you have your file in the location of drive C, you can just do it as a piece of cake. For the first time, you need to install the dplyr package, and then it's going to be ready to just populate all the information you need in the txt file. This is all I wanted to say about the first week of the class, and I'm here for any question you have. Yes. Okay, Tina, what's the confusion? Yes, I give you more lots of information. For sure, you need to digest that, and please watch video one more time and go step by step, because each piece of this information, it's a lot of things to digest. I understand I'm running them very easy, and but I know for the first time user is not as easy as I'm doing here. For the class discussion, you have to. For my class, it's only two discussion. The first initial post, and then one response post. That's enough. Yeah, after, yeah, this is the two posts you need to have with citation and 130 words. After that, you can reply to the other students. Just add your comment to be contribute in the class. Yes. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I understand this is very usual for the first 2 weeks. That's completely normal. Also, are you in my class, correct, Trina? Okay, perfect. So if you find any problem, also it's possible to make schedule a meeting, a Zoom session. We can go ahead and have a meeting in person, and just see what's the problem is, because before you, one of the other student also asked this question. Yep. Sure, sure. Go ahead. The RStudio. Mm-hmm. Okay, for installing that package, you just need to run are you using a what's your operating system? Okay, so just copy, highlighted this line, and then click on the run. And then when you run that, load the package, because the library dplyr load the package. So you need to install first and then load the package, or you can just run both of them together. Of just for one time. You don't need to install several times. This is okay if you install several times, but you don't need to install for all of the exercise. Basically, if you run the package one time, for the next time you just need to load the package, just run the second line here. Yeah. Yes. And you can share your screen if you have any problem. We can walk through that system problem. No. Sure. Okay. Any other question, class? Yeah. Go ahead. Teresa. Hi. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, yeah, here this is the manually. You can do it manually and this is automatically. So you can write the code here and just run all of them, or you can copy the code here and paste here and do the same thing. So this is the manually for writing a code. For example, I'm like to see the mean of a hospital bed. I can write the code here, say okay, what's the hospital bed, and this is I'm writing the code. I can see that this is good for checking some of the information you like to see. I like to see, for example, I like to change that with a standard deviation, and this is here. I can see the standard deviation. So this is a manually, and also you cannot save anything in the console, but you can save anything you write here in the code. Yeah. You always need to keep your code. You always need to save, because if you decided to repeat the analysis, you are able to do that. If you just type here, this part of the console is good. Just for example, for especially for this part, for the number of observation, it's very easy. For example, here you have all the n here and you don't know, okay, which n is for which variable. So I suggest you to just go ahead here, copy the code here, and then look at the summary and see, paste it here and see this manual here. I can see, okay, the first 5005 is for hospital beds, and I can change that. You can change that whenever you put a dollar sign here. The RStudio suggests you the variable you like to use. I can choose from here and I can just see and can just, if you go with a scroll up, you can repeat the previous code and just you can just press and see the number of observation. This environment or this environment? Are you talking about the console? Here, this is the data panel. This is listed the data, not the variable. For example, if I click on this, it's going to be open, show me the data. This is the real data. See, this is all the data I'm seeing here. For this code, I generated more than 10 different data sets to run this. My first data is this one, the other data generated based on the codes. This is the data. If you open the Excel, you can see only these data sets. These are the temporary data set in the RStudio. Whenever you turn off your computer and if you get back, probably you can see them if you do not remove all your temporary file, but basically these are the temporary in the RStudio memory, short memory. So we have four different panels. You're welcome. We have the code panel, we have a data panel, we have a plot panel, we have the console panel. The console is for results, the code is for coding, and the data part to making sure you are using the correct data set. So for this exercise, the data set is 3000 observation, 3030 observation. But for example, for the final exam, you maybe need to use the code with the data with 2000 observation. You need to make sure which code is the correct, which data set is the correct data set. So this is show you that you are in the right direction. Okay, any other question, class? Rebecca, we're gonna have every 2 weeks. Yes, yes. For the week, yes, because this live session I focus on the exercise. For the second live session, I will talk about the individual assignment too. Because for the individual assignment too, you need to run a code and write assignments. For the third live session, I will discuss about the team project. Maybe I switch them. For the second live session, I will talk about the team project. For the third live session, I will talk about the individual assignment too. And the last live session, I will go over the final exam, like I did here for the exercise. So you will have access to the data the night before. You could have that. For example, the Friday night, you will have the data for the end of week 7, and then you have a data. You can compare some of your numbers with what I'm doing here, so you are making sure you are in the right direction for the final exam. No, you have everything. It's gonna be like exercise. If you are doing very well, good job with exercise, you are in a really good position to get a 100 percentage of the final exam. You're welcome. Yes. Yes, I'm recording that with two different software and I will post a video in the class. Yes. Okay, yes. Also, you are talking, yeah, you are listening over the phone and I understand. So how many information you heard that and that's I'm some kind of confusing. So it's you're correct. I will post that, and in case you have some problems, so we could schedule a live session, Zoom meeting. So you're gonna be okay. You're welcome. Yes, Casey. Both of them. The group project is a up to 10 pages project. There's two main sessions. The first session is a literature review. You need to search and report summary of three till five papers. And then you have the article part. For the article part, you need to use one of the data setting class, for example, Medicare data, and then based on your topic, you need to run a very simple analysis, report the mean standard deviation, at least t-test or ANOVA test. Yep. It's very easy to go, piece of cake, I promise. Yes, you're gonna be in the same situation end of week 8, I'm sure. Yes. I had one of the student and she said I'm continuing my education. I have a master of biostat just because of this class. This is one of the interesting point that I oh don't drop the class, Casey. Let me know. We can go ahead over the Zoom session and work with you in person to see what's the real problem. Never drop the class before having at least one Zoom session with me. This is for all of the class. Never drop the class because of the RStudio. This is a wrong decision. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, class. Oh, if there's no question, I want to say thank you for all of you for being here. This is a beautiful weather in the Maryland if you are here. So you have still a few minutes to go outside. Enjoy your rest of day and have a good day, class. You're welcome. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you, Dr. Azadi. Goodbye. I do. I agree. Yes.